I don't think you know how excited I am to finally be back doing my TBR jar picks out my monthly TBR. I didn't do a monthly TBR for April, so it's really only been 1 month, but I am so excited because these are my favorite videos. If you don't know how this works, I have my TBR jar slash mug, which has a bunch of prompts written in it, which I pick randomly to help me pick out the books that I'll read for the next month. And obviously it is just a loose TBR. It's not like I force myself to read these books, but I would like to get back into them and then really push myself to read most of the books on the TBRs. Because even if I'm doing them just for fun and I don't make myself read them, like, I think that's fine, it's still fun, but I would like to challenge myself to finish them. So hopefully I pick a good TBR this month and I'm going to really try and push myself to finish. By this point, I'm assuming you've already noticed that half of my books are wrapped in paper. I've started doing a series of videos where I am randomly reading these wrapped up books, which I've already filmed the first one and I still have to edit it. So hopefully that comes out sometime soon. But you can see I still have a ton of books because I'm an idiot and I wrapped up 30. I knew I wanted to do those videos at least a couple times, but I don't know what I was thinking when I wrapped up 30. Some of the books that I wrapped up are ones that I just didn't really have the urge to read, so I wanted to push myself to get to them. So they are ones that I honestly have not missed or noticed that they're just not readily available to me, but then there are a few that I have been dying to read, but they are somewhere in this stack and I don't know how to get to them. So I definitely regret wrapping up so many, and I would love to use today to get a few of them out of book jail. So I actually have 2 different jars of prompts. This little one has prompts to do with the wrapped up books, and I will be honest, they are not very creative. I was struggling to come up with prompts, so I have just some random numbers between 1 and 30 that I picked, a couple of phone a friend type situations, and then a random number generator, so we've got a few different options. And of course I have my regular jar, which has the prompts that I will be using to pick books that aren't wrapped up. Okay, that is enough explanation. Let's finally get into picking the books. I think I want to start with 3 unwrapped books and 3 not wrapped books. I think that 6 is a good number, so let's start there. And I think I want to start with the wrapped up books. Maybe I'll go back and forth. There are not a lot of options. Okay, this one is just book number 27. I have absolutely no idea what any of these books are. I remember a few of them that I wrapped up because I was really excited to get to them, and I have been disappointed that I couldn't read them, but for the most part, there's 26 books left in here and I have no idea what they are. So this is going to be like opening a little present. Oh gosh, oh, I'm kind of scared. We got Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Okay. So this is a science fiction about a man in space, if you couldn't tell by the cover. Obviously, I am a little bit intimidated and scared of this, only because it's science fiction, but I have heard really amazing things about this. Somebody that I watched was just reading this, but I can't remember who. Anyways, this is about Ryland, who is the sole survivor on a desperate last chance mission, and if he fails, humanity and Earth itself will perish. Except right now, he doesn't know that. He can't even remember his own name, let alone the nature of his assignment or how to complete it. His crewmates are dead, he is the only one there, and he doesn't know what he's doing. So, it sounds like it is very high stakes. Also sounds like it could be kind of boring because he's all alone, so is he just going to be talking to himself? Is he going to find a way to communicate with people? I don't know. I've only read 2 sci-fis before, which was Dark Matter and Red Rising, and I did really love both of them, but for some reason I'm still very intimidated just by the genre as a whole, which I think is why I picked this as one of the books to wrap up, because I hope that I will really enjoy this, but I know that it's not one I will ever gravitate towards in the near future unless I am pushed to read it because I'm just scared. So I guess we will see if having it on the TBR gets me to finally read it. That is book number 1. Let's do a regular prompt now. Ooh, a summer read. That's fun. I tried to show you, but I don't think it worked. When I think of summer read, I usually think of romance or just something pretty easy and quick. I could do Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, which is a romance. I don't think there's anything inherently summery about it, but it's just a cute, easy romance. Ooh, I could do As Good as Dead and finally finish the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. This one also does not scream summer, but it's a thriller, which I also just think is perfect for the beach. Am I going to a beach? No. Well, actually, I'm going to Biloxi, Mississippi this weekend, which is possibly, well, not possibly, it is definitely a beach town, but what kind of beach? And will I be at the beach? I don't know. Ooh, I could also do Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, which is just a little cowboy romance. I feel like this fits the summer theme maybe a little bit better than the other 2 just because it's cowboys. but cowboys exist all year round, not just in the summer, so I don't know why I think that. I think I'm gonna do Yours Truly just because this has been on my TBR the longest. I read Part of Your World by her recently, which takes place I think right before this one, and I really loved it, so I've been wanting to get into this one. It's about Bree, who's a doctor, and oh, she's going through a divorce. Her brother is running out of time to find a kidney donor, and some new doctor is taking the job that she wants. That doctor, I think, being Dr. Jacob, who is the love interest. Oh yeah, and they start sending letters to each other, which I heard is really cute. I think he sends a letter to her first to apologize for something, and they just end up writing letters back and forth, which I think is really cute. I love when people do that in books, and I have only heard amazing things about this book. I think it's people's favorite by her, so I'm sure that she does it really well. I bet the whole book is just really cute. All right, that is book 2. Back to the wrapped up books. Roll a dice. Well, I need to go find one now. So we have a million board games, and somehow it seems like this is the only one that maybe has dice in it. And it seems like a funky dice. Okay, so it just has letters on it. But I can make that work. Whatever letter I land on, I'll just pick whatever number that is in the alphabet. Okie dokie. We got B. B is number 2. That's really easy. And 2 is available. Okay, why am I getting disappointed? Like, these are all good books. And this is Mrs. Nash's Ashes by Sarah Adler. I picked this up at Half Price Books pretty randomly because I just thought the cover was cute. I think that it's a rom-com about a girl who is traveling across the country because she promised her elderly best friend that she'd reunite her with the woman she fell in love with 80 years ago. And then she ends up picking up some guy, Hollis, because why is he going cross country with her? Oh, okay, his flight got canceled, so he hitches a ride from her to travel across the country. Oh, and the old woman who our main character is reuniting with her, is it best friend? No, the woman she fell in love with. The old woman is dead, so she's bringing her ashes in the car. I think that I explained that really horribly, but I was kind of just disappointed, I think, because it's not one that I really had on my radar, and I don't think I've seen anybody read this, so that doesn't make me think that it's bad. It just means I haven't heard anybody say that it's good. So yeah, that is book number 3. I'm not the most thrilled about it, but that is why I want to stop buying books that I'm not super excited to read, because then we get to this situation. Moving on, let's pick another prompt. This is a long one. Give an author a second chance. So that means I have to think of a book that I didn't like, but I would give that author another try. Oh, I could do Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson because I hated the first book in the Remnant Chronicles. Whoa, but I don't know that I'm ready for that. Okay, let me think of some others. I think Dance of Thieves might be my only option. Let me go get it. I think that this is the only book that I have by an author I didn't like before. Every other book that I didn't like, I just don't think I have any more by that author, or I got rid of them. So then I guess this is going on the TBR. This is a young adult fantasy romance, and I have always wanted to read it, like really bad. But I wanted to read the prequel trilogy beforehand, which is The Kiss of Deception. And lots of people say you really do not need to read it beforehand, but it gives you a better idea of the world, I guess. And I heard some people saying that it was really good, so I was excited to start that trilogy, and I just hated that book. I actually have a whole reading vlog of me reading that book. I picked it for a scavenger hunt video, so I will link that somewhere if you want to see that. It was not good, but it did not turn me off from wanting to read this because I've heard tons of people now say that they did not like The Kiss of Deception, but they loved this. Plot-wise, I know nothing about this. I just know that people say this is the absolute best enemies to lovers romance. A formidable outlaw family that claims to be the first among nations, a son destined to lead thrust suddenly into power, 3 fierce young women of the Rattan, the Queen's premier guard, a legendary street thief leading a mission determined to prove herself, a dark secret that is a threat to the entire continent. When outlaw leader meets reformed thief, a cat-and-mouse game of false moves ensues, bringing them intimately together in a battle that may cost them their lives and their hearts. So it's not giving us much other than he is a prince or maybe even the king, and she is a street thief, and they have some sort of enemies to lovers romance. I'm already in the middle of a ton of series, so I wouldn't have voluntarily chosen to start a new fantasy series, but it is only a duology, so hopefully if I love this, I can finish it pretty quickly, even though it's kind of chunky. It's definitely a book that I have been scared to read because I'm so excited, so having it on the TBR is scary. I feel like I am not going to want to actually pick it up, but we shall see. Okay, last prompt for the wrapped up books. Hardcover. So I don't know what each hardcover is, but I do know that there is one I've been dying to read, which is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. And that one is a short hardcover. So it's the size of, I think, a paperback. So it's definitely not this tall one or this one. So I need to feel around. Oh, this is harder than I thought. This one is also a hardcover. Oh, dang it, so is this one. How many small hardcovers do I have? Oh my gosh, this one's also a hardcover. What are these? Oh shoot, okay. Well, right off the bat, this one's really thick looking. And I'm pretty sure Emily Wilde is not that big. I'm hoping it's not that one. I really want Emily Wilde. This was also kind of thick, so I'm gonna put her back. Okay, so I have a 50-50 chance. This one feels more square, so I'm gonna go for it because it's a very weird formatted hardcover. It's very square, it doesn't have a dust jacket. I feel like this is it. Okay, moment of truth. Yes! I did it! We got Miss Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, people. I can't tell you how excited I am. I was hoping that I would get the hardcover prompt so that I could find this one. That would have been so sad if I didn't pick this one. I don't even know what the other hardcovers are, but that's not important. So I am very late to the trend of reading this book. I feel like its moment has already passed, but that is fine with me. I'm still very excited to read it. It is about Emily Wilde, who is studying a bunch of fae, and I believe she gets sent to this small village or something to study a specific kind of fae. Yeah, and once she gets to the village, her academic rival Wendell arrives and she is really annoyed and they have some sort of romance, I think. And the romance might just be a very small subplot, I'm not really sure, but I do know that this is a cozy fantasy, which is one of my favorite genres, so I am so excited. That is book 5. Okay, last prompt is book by an author you have read before. Ooh, I have so many things in my head because I have lots of series that I want to finish, which is probably what I should prioritize. I really want to read the next Red Rising book, finish A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, City of Glass by Cassandra Clare, Happy Place by Emily Henry. I really have so many options. You know, I think I will finally bite the bullet. I'm gonna go with Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, which is book 2 in the Red Rising series. It has been a few months since I read Red Rising and I really want to get back into this before I forget everything. And I genuinely loved Red Rising, so the fact that I haven't picked it up yet is just really stupid. I think I've just been a little bit intimidated, but I don't really know why, and it's not even very thick. It's only a little bit bigger than book 1. So I don't really have anything to be scared of. I just need to read it. I feel like I always say the same thing about the series, which is everybody says it is like Hunger Games in space, which I think is true, but definitely not totally accurate, and there is so much more than that. But it's one of those books that I truly think if you go in blind, you will have the best experience, so I don't want to say anything more than that. I would just say, trust me, it is a very fast-paced and addicting read in my personal opinion. And it is a science fiction, but I found it pretty easy to get into. A lot of people talk about this like it takes a lot of brain power and it's kind of intimidating. And that really scared me, but personally, I didn't think it was very hard to understand what was going on. I didn't feel like I had to think that much. So I don't want people to be too scared to start it. Now, when I get to this one and the other books, maybe the brain power portion will kick in and maybe I will be confused, but as far as book 1 went, I thought it was just a very enjoyable, good, crazy read that I highly recommend. So I'm excited to finally finish the series. Well, not finish, but start book 2. Even though I would love to continue, this is book 6, so I'm going to cut myself off here because I want to really push myself to complete as much of the monthly TBR as possible. I think doing any higher than 6 would just be dumb because I've only been reading about 5 books a month. So 6 is doable, but already maybe a stretch. So we're gonna stop there. These are the 6 books that I will hopefully be reading in May or maybe even in April if I get a head start. We have 2 science fiction, 2 romances, and 2 fantasy. 2 of these are continuing series that I've already started, and 2 are the start of a brand new series for me, which is good. I really wanted to make some progress on the series that I have this year, so hopefully I really get to all of these. To recap, we've got Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, Mrs. Nash's Ashes by Sarah Adler, Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I would say I'm definitely most excited for this one. And Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. In about a month, we'll see how many of these I actually read. That's all from me, so thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!